Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Dandy of you to join us today on New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, joined in the studio by licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron and clinical psychologist Dr. Alice Benton. Take it away, Alice. What's on your mind?
Well, my family and I had a strongly emotional day yesterday.
Oh.
My 10-year-old in particular, she felt unwanted by our family. And her response to feeling unwanted was to withdraw and to give off some vibes that felt like she was angry with us. And so I want to go through a few things she did in desiring our help, wanting our reassurance, but she defaulted to a couple of things most of us do when we're hurt that actually push people away even more. She engaged in a hope that we would read her mind. She wanted us to know that she needed to be pursued and cared for, but her behavior showed the opposite. She went to her room, closed the door, laid on her bed, and faced the wall. And she needed me to read her mind and know she actually wanted to be hugged and comforted, but she didn't tell me that. My husband and I went in a couple times to say, how are you doing? We see that you're hurting. We want you to come back with us. And she didn't respond to our offers. So when help was placed before her, she didn't take it. Then when I asked her to come in with me, to lay down with me, to allow me to comfort her physically and emotionally, she snapped at me. Eventually, I was able to invite her into a comfort circle, and the poor kiddo unloaded. She said her distress was a 10 out of 10 of feeling unloved and unwanted by us. And she went through a couple of small things that had happened during the day that led to her feeling like that. As she submitted to the comfort circle, becoming vulnerable, letting her guard down, she was able to reveal the pain, the fact that she needed me to pursue her, and we were able to talk it out. We use the comfort circle at least once a week in my family. Sometimes I need to be the recipient of it because I'm emotionally distressed. Oftentimes it's for my daughter. And you've heard us talk about it many times here. It comes from the How We Love book. Folks, it works. If you haven't yet read the book, if you haven't yet tried it, it brings emotional dysregulation down to calm. And it helps us understand why a person is in pain when on the surface level, it looks like we had a fine day. I have no idea why you're in this amount of distress and you shouldn't be. Well, there are always reasons, legitimate reasons, but it's hard to get below the surface upset to find out what that true hurt is underneath. We talk on the show as well about how to move from insecure to secure attachment, and Jesus is the one who displayed the most secure attachment, perfect secure attachment. As we move in that direction, we become able to say, I'm hurt and I need help. I want to be pursued. Would you come for me? Would you come look for me and ask me how I'm doing? And it's by reaching that level of maturity that we are much more likely to get our needs met. My daughter's young, and so I don't expect her to be in that position yet. But we want to try to both model for our children how we can ask for help, invite them to, and show them the path to get there, because relational comfort is one of the most effective ways of dealing with emotional dysregulation.
The comfort circle works again.
I love it. It works. Yeah, I like what you're
Every
saying.
time.
It does work because emotions drive our behaviors. And so until we know what the emotion is that's driving that behavior, we won't know what our need is. And, I said this the other day on the show, we either verbalize or we dramatize what we have going on. And if we dramatize, other people have to guess. But when we can verbalize, we're much more likely to be able to get our needs met. And I love it. I love what you're doing, Alice. I wish I had known this a long time ago when my kids were young too.
All right, very good. We're going. The How We Love book is available for purchase in the newlife.com store. So check that out. It's a great resource, and it talks all about the comfort circle. So check that out. If your kids think that you can read their mind when you can't, or if your spouse is that way, no. What you guys need is the comfort circle. We'll be back on New Life Live.
The Life Recovery Conference is online Saturday, October 4th. It isn't just for those struggling with addiction. It's for anyone ready to break free from destructive patterns and build a foundation for lasting change. Our expert speakers will equip you with biblical tools to face life's toughest challenges and find real transformation. You'll walk away with practical strategies to overcome anxiety, shame, and relational struggles, plus biblical wisdom for grief, finances, and identity. You'll also gain tools to recognize unhealthy patterns and clear action steps to choose wisdom every day. The Life Recovery Conference is for everyone. Whether you're just beginning your journey, looking for fresh tools, supporting a loved one, or leading others, you'll find hope, direction, and encouragement. Change starts with one step. Register today for the Choosing Wisdom New Life Recovery Conference at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go right to the phones. Here is Ben in Nashville, listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hey, Ben, welcome to New Life Live.
Thanks so much for having me today. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. So glad you called. What's going on?
Hey, so at the top of the show, I think it was Mark talked about a very interesting subject, and it did get a lot of attention on my side, and that is how many times should a husband and wife be having sex, on a regular basis? So
yeah, that was on Monday's program. But yeah, what was your?
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm calling about that. If I can, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I'm in a marriage of long duration, and first I want to just thank you guys for your ministry. It's great. I listen to you guys all the time. So marriage of long duration, 26 years, and the relationship between a man and a woman from the beginning and throughout the process is different. And I think men believe, especially when it comes to sex, that it's always going to be the same or better. And unfortunately, as we age, and I think there's a whole population of baby boomers out there experiencing the same thing I've experienced, and that is, doggone it, I expect one thing in my relationship with my wife from a sexual perspective or a lovemaking perspective, and yet she is changing physiologically, and that is affecting her mentally. And what I'm talking about specifically is this awful, terrible, horrible thing called menopause. And my wife and I are going through menopause, and I have to tell you, I have had to ask for her forgiveness because for a long time, I really thought all the things you all have been talking about. Oh, she's just withholding it. Have I used Bible verses on her? Yes, I have, much to my shame. And it's so wrong, and it took me literally a year, 2 years, maybe longer, to figure out that, doggone it, there's something happening with her that we both should be involved with, and that we both have to understand and add that experience to our relationship, and in a loving way, protect each other. And so once she has tried to talk to me about it, of course, my male mind is going, no, I'm not listening to that. That can't be right. That's wrong. You just don't love me anymore. All those things. But doggone it, it's true. She is going through a very tough time, and I now understand it better, and it has really, we went from, hey, I don't think we should stay in this relationship anymore because of this issue to now, doggone it, we're good. We're good. I understand, and it really is going to take the husband to be the understanding partner, because the wife already understands it, knows all about it, and we got to listen, and we got to take it to heart, and we have to support our wives, because if we don't, it is going to be a difficult time.
Yeah, Ben, I like what you said, that you're both going through it. You didn't just say she's going through it. You said we're both going through it.
I was going to make a comment about that. You're the first person who I've ever heard who has said something like that. My wife and I going through menopause together. So, I mean, it sounds like you've already discovered what I spoke about on Monday's show about that, challenges in sex are a couple's problem. And you're right. menopause is a biological shift that happens, and it happens to every woman. And it's a stage of life transition too. And it sounds like, Ben, you were able to do, ultimately what I was suggesting is to do the comfort circle, where you actually have a conversation, you listen for understanding, and you build empathy. And then through that, you create connection and emotional intimacy.
I think.
Yeah, but Mark, let me tell you, it was not an easy path for me to get there. And I think if more men, more husbands understood what was really going on, if more men's conferences talked about this issue of menopause and how it can be a tremendous challenge to a marriage relationship, I think that would help a lot, because we don't get it. Men do not understand it, and when we hear it, we deflect it. We think, oh, it's just a woman saying, well, it's wrong. It's something that we should absorb. We have to grab a hold of, and we have to work on together, or it will cause problems. And I'm wondering if not a lot of divorces are caused by this very thing.
Alice?
A lot of women are cheering. Ben, you're a champion for women. Thank you for doing this for your own wife, but also for speaking up publicly about it. I heard the pain you felt, actually similar to what my daughter felt, because it's our default pain. You don't love me anymore. Whatever it is you're doing, that's the message we human beings so quickly take. And it's hard for us to give the benefit of the doubt. I might be hurt by what you're doing. I don't understand it, but let's talk it through and figure out what it means. And I'm so proud of you that you and your wife have gotten to that side of it. You said women know it and understand it, but I would say I think a lot of us women are very ignorant about our own chemical changes that we're going through, whether it's through pregnancy, afterwards, and then through menopause. So if we are also confused about what's happening and why, we don't always connect those dots, how much more difficult for you men who are on the other side of it. In our intimacy and marriage intensive that we do, a lot of us say, men and women, when we have talks about these kinds of things at the conference, we'll say, I've never had this talk before in my life. My parents didn't talk to me about it, and my husband and I can't talk about it. So most of us are pretty mute on these topics and ignorant. And so let's take Ben's example and just be inspired to break through the silence and to ask the questions and to admit, I'm kind of feeling unloved. I don't think that's what you mean to do, but can we talk about the hurt we're both feeling? I want to be better connected. Well done, Ben.
So, Alice, like you said, that not even some women realize what they're going through, so they might be feeling the same thoughts that Ben's feeling, like the husband, my husband isn't loving me anymore.
That's
he doesn't.
right.
Yeah, or it's his thing. But I don't know. Ben, maybe the Lord's calling you to some kind of ministry, that you're the one that's going to be speaking at men's conferences on this issue. But thank you for calling in today. I think we'll send you a copy of the Mediterranean Love Plan from the newlife.com store. Thanks for calling in to New Life Live. Now we're going to go to Heather, who is also in Nashville, listening on WDNX. Hi there, Heather. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi. Well, I'm in a crossroads, and I'm in the process of selling my home, relocating. There's nowhere really figured out to go. I have a lot of support with the packing and so forth and so on, but I have a lot of disloyalties that I'm processing from the family, the nuclear family, and the nieces and nephews, and I'm trying to get some assistance with what should I be focusing on as a priority as I transition to another phase of my life. It's quite late in my life. I'm 83, and I'm doing a lot of transitioning.
And is your main concern this disloyalty?
No, it's just a lot of jumbled up major things. That's one of the major things. But it's not unlike our history as a family. We have a nuclear family that was, pretty much in trouble. I was an identified patient. I'm the only one that got any help. Everybody else is still sick. They don't want to do any work on the issues that they have. And I've tried to come along and help many of the people in my family. I consider myself very strong, very resourceful, very resilient. But I get lonely and I get sad when I recognize that they're still doing it, by George. And I don't want it to influence my happiness so much.
And is this
And
both your family of origin you're describing, and then did you marry and have children and they also are struggling?
No, my family of origin is just my sister and I, and she's greatly disabled, and I was in a lot of disability too, with the need for open heart surgery, pancreatic enzyme issue, possible cancer of the bones. But I just decided that all of that was just some stress, and while there may be some physiological reasons for these medical issues, vision losses, I just think that a lot of the time when you have a lot of stress and you're very empathic and trying to help everybody, that you don't know how to take care of yourself.
And your sensitive heart keeps getting hurt because of the unhealthy choices people are making. Is that mainly then your husband and your children who you're feeling the disloyalty from?
I don't have children. I married when I was 71. The gentleman never bonded with me because he felt disloyal to his dead wife, so I had the marriage annulled. So I don't have any children, but I have nieces that I feel motherly toward. But everybody's pretty selfish, and they only want to come toward me when they need something. And a lot of the times I'm able to deliver. When I'm not able to deliver, they get angry with me, and they can't hear that I'm old, I'm sick, and broke. They just want me to deliver.
You're a giver, and you're surrounded by takers, and they can suck you dry, and you're good at giving.
Yeah.
But part of the solution is having to build a spiritual family apart from your biological family, because you need to find other givers where you can be in reciprocal relationship. And usually we find those people in things like New Life recovery groups, growth groups, church small groups, people that want to give back, not just take. But it's risky and it's difficult to put yourself out there to go find other people who want to pour into you, not just take from you.
I do have a lot of support, but it's tangential, and I'm going to be leaving the area where I have gotten new support and new surrogate family. So I'm sort of at loosey-goosey ends right now, but I believe that I will still be able to rise above the challenges and feel hopeful about everything, but just I'm in a place right now where the support is disjointed. It's only offered when it's a great need, and then I'm still sort of hanging and stranded with no certainties in my life. I know I have the financial ability to purchase what I need, certainty, in a home, but I had a lot of issues that happened with my sister got in a medical meltdown, and although I was in very bad condition, and she's blind, so I went to help her. Now she's doing fine, and I'm broken down, using a cane again and things of that nature. However, I just feel like I have to just escape. My mode of dealing with things is to run away. I'm gonna run away from the area where I am, where there's so much disjointed jealousy and competition.
Well, Heather, I was curious because you said you're selling your home, but you don't know where you're going to go. What do you mean you don't know where you're going to go?
Well, I had a plan to buy a home near my sister, but I had a very large water bill, $580, $83.50 water bill, and it messed up my account. So I don't have the ability to give a good profile in the bank for the 2-month statements they require. So I've got to lay low for 2 months.
So are you saying that you're planning on selling your home because you want to run away and you want to get away from these takers? Is that what you're saying? But you're still not sure where you're going to go?
The house is sold. The closing is October 6th. And because of the problem with the bank, I don't feel it's time to try to buy another house when you don't have a good profile for the 2-month statements they require to show that you can repay the loan.
But you don't know where you're going to go now that your house is sold? Are there no family members who are helping you out? Can you get a temporary housing?
It's too toxic. It's too toxic with my family, and there's just no place right now except that if I could get a short-term apartment to lease, but I need just 2 months. But most of the time they want 6 months for a short-term leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Alice gave you some advice here. I didn't hear a particular question, though, from you.
What is your main question for this?
My particular question was, what do I focus on as a priority while I'm in all this transition?
All right, very good. We're going to go to break right now. We will answer that main question when we come back here on New Life Live. Thank you so much, Heather, for calling in today from Nashville, Tennessee, where we are heard on WDNX. We are heard all over the country. We are on Sirius XM. We live stream on Facebook and YouTube every day, and there's just so many ways that you can listen nowadays. We have an app. All the details about everything that we do is on our website, which we recently redesigned. Have you checked it out yet? Go check it out right now. newlife.com is the address. Same address, but it's just got a brand new look, and I think you're going to like it. We'll be back with more of your calls, and we'll answer Heather's question as well.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, November 7th through the 9th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Heather. You still with us, Heather?
Yes, I am.
Great. Mark?
So you said your question was, what do I focus on as a priority during this transition? My immediate concern for you, Heather, is where you're going to move to. Your house is sold. You have to move out. It doesn't sound like you want to move in with any of your family members because you find them emotionally unsafe. That's my concern for you. Do you know?
I have a couple of options. I can go from
Okay.
several church members will take me in for periods of time. And I find that disruptive, but I'll do that if I have to.
Okay, that's good. So you have somewhere to go.
Yes.
And now, and when you talk about transition, you said that you want to run away. Sometimes getting away from dangerous people is actually a healthy thing to do. Are you concerned, though, that you want to just get so far away from them that you will lose all community that you've built up?
No, I'm moving to be near them because although they're toxic, they're still my family. And I will help them in a crisis. They will help me in a crisis. And my sister and I are the only remaining nuclear family members, and she is totally blind.
I see what you mean. So you're moving closer toward them, and that's where your concern is. How do you hold boundaries with them because they're takers, and you're going to need help?
No, I want to know how to not feel so sad about they're still continuing to show how unkind they are.
I think there are two ways to address that sadness, Heather, and neither of them are an easy answer. One is to proactively enter into lament that you are surrounded by such unhealthy people that don't want help, because it's by talking that through rather than trying to compartmentalize it that the grief becomes metabolized over time. And so it's by telling those stories of how you're so disappointed and frustrated by what your family's doing, telling them to a safe listener who's not a family member, who will be empathic towards you. That helps decrease the grief. But there's a need for an acceptance here that your family gets to choose an unhealthy way of life, and there's no sign they're going to be changing anytime soon. So monitoring your expectations and whether or not you get yourself into hoping, really wishing that they'll get better when all signs point to the contrary, that can help limit that expectation, which leads to disappointment. But I really hope you will focus on being able to give honest no's to your family, deciphering when they really need your help versus when they need to not receive help and experience the consequences of that, because that gives the better likelihood that they will someday choose help and choose health if they're not enabled or protected from hitting their bottom because you're willing to rescue them. It might be important to learn not to rescue them.
That's an important part of what Alice is saying with acceptance, is limiting the ways people can hurt you or take advantage of you too. It does, just because we accept a situation or limitations of others doesn't mean that, we're powerless and it's hopeless and we can't do anything about it. Sure, we might not be able to do anything about their willingness to grow, but we can set boundaries ourselves, and it's often the natural consequences, as Alice is describing here, the external motivation when we don't have internal motivation that prompts other people to grow because the circumstance requires them to.
When people ask me for something and I have that thing to give, I have to evaluate, can I freely give this thing? Whether it's my time, my attention, my money, can I freely give it, or will I be giving it with resentment? And will I be upset with them afterwards that I gave it to them? If so, it's not a healthy giving.
Well, and also, is it healthy and helpful to give it to that person, or are we rescuing them and pulling them out of a situation where they need to struggle because they'll grow?
Yes. So wondering, is my giving going to keep them stuck in immaturity? And is it better for them if I don't give this thing? But I find it so difficult, Heather, to be able to say I'm not able or I'm not willing to give that help when I actually have it in my back pocket. But if I know it's not good for you and it's not going to be good for me either, we're going to be upset with each other afterwards. That's one of those situations where we need the support of other stable, sane people, sober people who can say, you're right not to give. You look maybe mean or selfish by not giving, but you're actually avoiding enabling by not giving the thing being asked of you. And we usually need to vet that with other people who are in a healthy frame of mind.
Something Heather said, she wanted to move closer to them so that she can help them and they can help her, but it doesn't sound like they're doing a lot of helping towards you. Are they, Heather?
They do things which are like critical, like when I had surgery on my shoulder and had pneumonia with several clots in my lungs. My sister came and got me, and I got hospitalized and was able to get the treatment I needed. So, she'll do things like that, but she doesn't want to have lunch with me, type thing. I just want to learn not to be so sad when I know the history has been long-standing. My sister's 85 and I'm 83, and there's a child. She has 2 children, and I have some unhealthy relationships with them. So her son is living with her now. So when I sacrificed myself to take care of her during her medical meltdown, they turned on me and didn't want me to have any contact with her.
Yeah,
so I just overwhelmed with.
That makes sense. Yeah, sadness is part of the grief, and I think what Alice said earlier on about learning to build that spiritual family apart from your biological family, where you can get that support and that community and that connection, I think will help you through the grief.
Heather, I think we'll send you a copy of Boundaries from the newlife.com store, so stay on the phone and we'll get that in the mail to you. Thank you so much for calling in to New Life Live. Thank you everybody else for listening and watching today. We'll be right back with more great advice from Mark and Dr. Alice.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
New Life has another faith-based webinar coming up. It's our third one in 3 months. Mark your calendars for Thursday, October 16th at 7 p.m. Central Time for Moving Forward, Hope After Divorce. Now, just to be clear, we are huge advocates of marriage here at New Life, so this isn't a webinar on whether or not you should get a divorce or how to find a divorce attorney or anything like that. But if you are newly divorced or you're still struggling years later, you will gain biblical tools to set boundaries, rediscover your identity, and move forward in faith. It's hosted by New Life President Becky Brown and presented by Stacy Smith. This live session offers divorce recovery support to help you process grief, experience emotional healing, and begin rebuilding your life with renewed hope. You can visit newlife.com for all the details. Attending could be the start of your new chapter. Webinars that we do, man, they're less than $20 per person. I still don't know how we do that, but man, it is so good because we get so many people who attend and they get the help that they need. So get all the details at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You know, we have several ways that you can get your question to us here at New Life Live. Our favorite way is when you call in and we can talk to you and see how your life is going, but we understand that you can't always call in when we're here. So we've set up a voicemail line and also an email address that you can get your question to, and the details are at newlife.com/radio. That's where you can get the email address and the phone number. But here is one of those QSOs, questions submitted online. This one is from Arlene, who asks, is there a support group for me? I'm in the middle between my recovering sex addict husband and our estranged daughter that he abused. So here's the backstory from Arlene. My husband sexually abused our daughter for several years without me knowing. This stopped when she was 12 years old. She is now 53. 5 years after the abuse stopped, he came to me and told the truth. I opted to keep our family together and get counsel. Through much counsel, some of it okay, but not what was needed, there was forgiveness and reconciliation, family time, etc., and much supervised time with 5 grandchildren who are now teens and young adults. They've loved us so much and trusted us. Our daughter broke away from us for 6 long years, decided to forgive, and we became a family again for 14 years. Our daughter has broken ties with us again, been going on for 3 years now. She has never talked to us regarding the abuse and would not counsel with us. She did meet with us during the first breakup, only to ask for money to pay for her counseling, which we gladly gave her. Right now, it's all about getting back at us. I understand her anger. My husband got help for his addiction and has never swayed. He's loving, loyal, very strong in the Lord. He's been a great husband and father and grandfather for years. We have asked forgiveness, admitted all the wrongs. Our son tried to be supportive, but feels he needs to cut ties for now. Our grandchildren have loved us so much and trusted us. I've beat myself up over and over again, yet I prayed and followed the Lord's leading. Forgiveness has always been my desire. Is there a support group that could help me? What do you guys say to Arlene? Alice?
This is an incredibly tough situation, Arlene. And I would say it would probably be important to find a support group that has women who have dealt with the wreckage of sexual integrity issues, because you're most likely to find the best amount of understanding there. Because any woman that has been betrayed but still loves her betrayer and wants to hold the family together may be inclined to forgive and to reunite. And so it is understandable to me that you would want healing with your husband, and that as you saw signs of recovery, you would welcome him back in. And yet the pain you're experiencing of being in relationship with him and then losing relationship with your adult children, probably because of his historical choices, that is an incredibly deep pain. I would say that if you attend these kinds of groups, our New Life Recovery groups for our women who have attended our betrayal weekend, the name is escaping. What's our Restore weekend? I think would be more likely to understand your situation. But I would also forewarn you to say that it can be difficult to find a group that you really can feel a part of and understood by. And we might find the imperfections in a group to decide, this group isn't for me, they don't get me, they're too judgmental. And it really takes staying in a group for several sessions to be able to determine if it's the group for you. But don't stop, because I think you will be able to find the right fit for you if you keep trying.
Mark?
Yeah, this is a difficult and complex situation. I think there's probably a little bit more information that is missing from us, for us, because you had mentioned in the question that you feel in the middle, so that you're between. So I'm wondering what they want from you, if they're really more angry at your husband and willing to let you back in to their lives. So it's a really difficult situation. It's not like there would be a support group that's exactly other people in this exact same situation. But I think what Alice is saying is obviously really good about trying to understand more about betrayal, and as you do that, you may gain new insights and understanding into why they do feel so hurt in this too, and that may give you more knowledge and then opportunity to go and ask for healing for some of those newfound insights that you're gaining here. But definitely it's a very difficult and complex situation.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Alice?
As Mark was pointing out, finding out what your children want from you, they may be asking for more admission from your husband, or perhaps separation between you and your husband if you're engaging with the grandchildren. Although I hear you that there was a history of everybody seeming to be happy together. But when our children go through their own seasons of life, and perhaps their child hits a similar age of when they were being abused, it brings up some shocking emotion that a person can think, I haven't even thought or felt anything about the abuse for years, but now that my daughter is 10, 11, 12, all of a sudden I'm totally angry at my father for what he did to me, and his recovery is not enough. And so be prepared that new waves come up of old emotion, and they don't make sense time-wise often. And yet it usually is God's invitation to invite the entire family into a deeper level of healing. So drawing on your husband's recovery and his willingness to go back deeper into recovery to look at what further amends he might need to make, even if that's allowing his children to have no relationship with him for a long period of time, that may be part of what they need for their healing process.
But how can he find out what it is that they want if they won't even talk to him? What would you?
Well, maybe they'll talk to Arlene about it.
Okay.
And it sounds like they have some hurt toward her too, because she was there, and maybe through no fault of her own did she not know what was going on. But it sounds like there wasn't full healing. I mean, to have a 14-year restoration period and then to have it go into estrangement again, it tells me that, not everything was really fully healed in those moments.
Arlene, you may have an overly whitewashed view of your husband's recovery. And I say that trying to gently challenge you because, of course, you wanted your family to come back together quickly. And for the victims, it may have happened too quickly. And being willing to understand that realigning with the perpetrator does break trust with your children, even if he was repentant. And so as painful as that is, being willing to consider, how did my actions in reuniting with my husband quickly, how might that have impacted my children? A technique I use, Arlene, when adult children are no longer in contact is for me, the clinician, to contact those adult children and to ask them if they would give feedback about the situation and if they would tell me what they want from their parents. I then take that back to the parents. I work with the parents. And sometimes we can come to a point of attempting reconciliation sessions and having family therapy sessions. So it's a method that you might attempt.
I think, what Arlene's going through, and I mean, with the whole family, because of what Arlene's daughter went through and, the sexual abuse and everything, but that 14-year period where everything seemed okay, like, hey, we're going to be a family again. We're going to have the holidays together and everything else. And then all of a sudden for it to fall apart must just be heartbreaking for everybody involved, at least Arlene and her husband, because we thought we had gotten past this, but sometimes it's not that easy. Is that what you're saying?
Especially when it's been sexual abuse by a biological parent. It's a wound that is almost impossible to heal. By God's grace, it's not impossible, but it's one of the more difficult woundings to be able to heal and fully reunite a family.
All right, Arlene, thank you so much for sending in your question through the newlife.com page. If you go to newlife.com/radio, that shows you how to send an email to us or how to leave us a voicemail. We would then read that email or play the voicemail here on the radio program and answer your question that way. And so that's one way, two ways that you can call in or get your question answered. But our favorite way is for you to call in when we are here in the studio taking your phone calls. So that's it right there. 3 ways that you can get your question to us here at New Life Live.
Nobody gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced, yet there are so many people that experience divorce. How do we get through it? It can feel like it's the end of your story, but we also know that life goes on. So how do we get the healing that we need?
The Moving Forward Hope After Divorce webinar is Thursday evening, October 16th.
The live session will offer recovery tips like how to process grief in a healthy biblical way, practical steps for emotional healing after divorce, how to set healthy boundaries. This session is for anyone who's separated, divorced, or still navigating the long-term impact of divorce. Maybe you've been divorced for many years and you're still holding on to that resentment.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
It's not information, it's an invitation to heal, to hope, to rebuild, to trust that God has more for your story.
Start your new chapter today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
When you give to New Life, your gift will save marriages teetering on the edge of divorce, restore peace to minds weighed down by anxiety and depression, break chains of addiction, grief, and shame, and transform lives through counseling, radio, workshops, and recovery resources. We're able to do all this and more through God's grace and your generous support. Give online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950, and thank you for whatever you can do. You know, one more friendly reminder that today is the last day to sign up for early bird pricing for our upcoming Intimacy and Marriage workshop. Today, not Tuesday. Today is the last day. Don't call us on Tuesday and say, can I still get the discount? No, today. It's in 2 weeks, October 17th through the 19th in Dallas, Texas. So register today and save by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or at newlife.com. This is for couples that are recently married or have been married for a long time. Even if you're engaged, you can be here at the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. It's 3 days, and it is great. The Comfort Circle, we've been talking about that a lot, and that's one of the things that they're going to learn at the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. And then tomorrow, Saturday, October 4th, that is our Choosing Wisdom online conference. It's our life recovery conference. We do this every year, and the date has come. It is tomorrow. That doesn't make sense. It's tomorrow, October 4th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central, and it's online, so everything there for you on newlife.com or when you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Dr. Alice Benton is one of the presenters. What are you presenting on, Alice?
Anxiety. One of my topics I love to hate to love, because it's mine too.
Yes, I was going to say, I love anxiety. No, it's not that you love anxiety. You just love helping people get out of it. Yeah. So get all the details about that at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That reminds me, I meant to follow up with you on this, Mark, on Monday's episode when we were talking about anxiety, and you mentioned that Jesus had anxiety. Now, people might freak out when they hear that because they're like, wait a minute, anxiety is a sin. There's no way the perfect Savior of the world could have had anxiety. So maybe do a deep dive into that on what you meant, and because I know what you meant, but I just want, because there are people who might tune in and they might have just heard you say that one statement, and then they might.
And some people might believe that anxiety is a sin. I don't believe that anxiety is a sin. I believe it's a human condition, and it's an experience that we have. Anxiety is a physiological state that happens in our body. Oftentimes it is adaptive. It's actually telling us about a danger that we should be aware of. Anxiety can help us prepare for that danger, to keep ourselves safe. And so, but it's a way that the Lord has built us as an alert system to what is happening inside of us or around us. Now, lots of people do feel guilty about having anxiety. We had one caller who did, because it can seem confusing, and the Bible says, don't worry about anything. Don't be anxious about anything. But I think that's more about talking about the choice that we make in the face of what we are experiencing, because I think one of the most the most quoted commands is do not fear, do not be afraid, or be courageous. But what is courage? Courage is acting in the face of fear. So it's, these parts are just human conditions. They let us know what is happening on the inside of us, and it's okay to experience that. And I think the model for what Jesus did is pulling people around you and saying, hey, come around me, help me, support me, be available, be present with me. And I'm sure that's probably a lot of what you'll talk about, Alice, too.
Exactly, because it's the relational comfort that is one of the best antidotes to anxiety. It's not the only one, but it is one of the most powerful.
What do you tell someone who doesn't even know they have anxiety because they think that they're getting through life, and I mean they're not crippled by this? They hear about people who have crippling anxiety, but yet they're like, no, I function, I go to work every day, I'm totally cool, I'm level-headed, my blood pressure's okay. I mean, what do you tell them?
There are 2 to 3 ways that we can look for it on a surface level. One is anxiety can present as irritability. So you might know, I'm grumpy, I'm moody, but I don't think I'm anxious. But that could be a cover emotion for underlying anxiety. A second way to check is, how are you sleeping? Anxiety is not the only thing that disrupts sleep, but it's one of the main disruptors of sleep. And third, how is your body on a regular basis? Is it ever difficult to breathe? Do you feel a tightness in your chest, in your lungs, in your shoulders? Those are common places where anxiety sits. And so you may not know you have anxiety, but perhaps you can see through those other symptoms that there is a stirring inside of you that's uncomfortable, and it can impair how you interact with other people, and it can impair how you take care of yourself.
Even stomach issues. I have had a lot of people tell me this, that they were anxious as a kid and they had a stomach ulcer or other GI condition, and sometimes it was just cramps in the stomach, and they went to the nurse's office or they went to the doctor often, but there was no real medical condition that was diagnosed. And people who tend to be people pleasers tend to have a baseline level of anxiety, and because it's their baseline, it's they're quote unquote normal, and they don't realize it's there, but they're rescuing others is their way of reducing that anxiety. But sadly, when we do that, we just reinforce the anxiety to happen again.
What do you tell people pleasers who say, well, of course I please people, I'm supposed to be nice to people? Where do you draw that line? What would you guys say?
It is, of course, our Christian calling, and all people-pleasing is not bad. It's a fabulous characteristic to have, and it's an internal drive to care for others. That's not a bad thing in and of itself. But if it goes overboard and you start to see these couple of results, if you start to feel resentful when you're pleasing other people, it's a sign that it's a sick way of giving. If our people-pleasing keeps other people immature and overly dependent on us, it's not good for them. And if we find that we say yes to many things, but then we avoid the people that we have said yes to, it may be that our yes wasn't genuine. We said the supposed right thing, because Christians are supposed to say yes, they're supposed to give, but not always and not everywhere. So looking at those symptoms of your giving can help you determine, do I sometimes give in an unhealthy way?
I think that's interesting, because in the past I've had people that have needed help, like financially, right? Hey, they needed to borrow some money or whatever, and it was almost easier for me to just give them the money, and if I never saw it again, it's like, that's okay, because I just wanted to. We do it, like you said, if we can't do it out of a generous heart, like we read in the Bible when it comes to financial giving, to be a cheerful giver. So if we can't do it cheerfully, you're saying that there might be an issue there.
I was surprised to realize that, because as a Catholic, I don't think this is solely for Catholics, but in my culture I grew up in, if we were giving and we were unhappy about it, it meant that it was even better. It resulted in more heavenly reward, we thought, because we weren't having fun doing it. So the more we were living martyrs, disliking the good that we were doing, the more it counted. At least that's what we thought.
Yeah.
And when the Bible shook that belief up in me of, wow, if I'm not giving freely, or if I'm giving out of guilt or fear, that's the clanging gong that God doesn't want. He wants me to have a right heart posture. So it's okay to say no to a request if I realize my heart is not free to give this thing to you. Taking time, finding out what God would rather have me do, or asking Him to change my heart posture is the key to be able to give in a healthy way.
So join us tomorrow for the Choosing Wisdom Online Life Recovery Conference. You'll get helpful resources to deal with anxiety, difficulty in relationships, also financial recovery, narcissism, shame. Is recovery for everyone? You'll find out when you attend the New Life Choosing Wisdom online conference tomorrow, Saturday, October 4th, online. Get all the details at newlife.com. We'll see you there.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.